the Justice Department hires a man caught on body cam threatening police on January 6. When asked why, the Attorney General's answer: he was pardoned. That was the defense. At a House Judiciary hearing, Congressman Joe Neguse plays the footage and presses Pam Bondi on DOJ hiring and oversight. Watch how she responds.
If you come for law enforcement, the Trump administration will come for you. End quote. I want to show you just a brief video. It's about 30 seconds, and I'll ask you a couple questions about it.
You guys are disgusting, man. Hey, you guys are disgusting. I'm former law enforcement. You're disgusting. You are the Nazi. You are the Gestapo. You can't see it because you're chasing your pension, right? Your pension, your retirement, right? That's what runs your life, your retirement.
The sad thing is they're not even going to get their pension because it's going to be worthless.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Yeah. Fuck that. Yeah.
Attorney General Bondi, that man works for you now, right?
Who was that, Congressman?
The man in that video, the one who was in the police-worn body cam footage, the one allegedly yelling, "Kill him," at police officers on January 6th, his name is Jared Wise.
He does work for us.
He works for you at the Department of Justice.
He does.
This is an individual whom a federal grand jury indicted for 2 felonies and 4 misdemeanors related to his participation in the attack on January 6th. One of those charges was forcibly assaulting, resisting, opposing, impeding, intimidating, and interfering with police with the intent to commit another felony. This is who you choose as the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the United States of America to hire at the Department of Justice. Someone on video yelling, "Kill him," at police officers? Right?
I believe he was pardoned by President Trump.
Oh, he was pardoned. You're right. You're right. Pardoned by President Trump for his offense. Pardoned for yelling, "Kill him," at police officers. And yet you expect hardworking police officers across the country to believe that you take law enforcement seriously. You could imagine the reaction of so many folks across the country hearing the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the United States refuse to even condemn what that individual whom you've now hired did. But in any event, let's talk a little bit about some of the other divisions within the Department of Justice and what's happened over the last year. You're familiar with the Public Integrity section of the DOJ's Criminal Division. I think it's referred to as PIN. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know which presidential administration under which the PIN was first created?
I can tell you what administration that the weaponization was ended under.
I'll reclaim my time. This wasn't a trick question.
You don't get to
Madam Attorney
reclaim
General.
your time.
Madam Attorney General.
Because I don't like
Mr. Chairman, will you explain to the witness that he does reclaim his time?
Because I don't answer a question to your satisfaction.
Mr. Chairman.
Madam Attorney General, the time belongs to the gentleman from Colorado.
The president under which PIN was created was Gerald Ford. It was created after Watergate. I'm not asking a question, Madam Attorney General. The administration under which it was created was Gerald Ford. When you first started as the Attorney General of the United States, there were 35 people working in that office. There are now 2 people working in that office because you have gutted it. How many people work for the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team in the Criminal Division today?
Can I answer the question about PIN?
I've asked you a question. How many
You've
people
asked
work?
me a question, but you don't
How
want
many
the answer.
people work
I'm not
for the
gonna answer your
National
questions the way you
Cryptocurrency
want.
Enforcement Team? You won't answer how many
I'll
people?
answer PIN.
You.
PIN will not be
you know what?
weaponized.
You know what?
What's
Madam
funny
Attorney
about
General,
this?
I'll say to the chairman.
What's funny about this?
Chairman, you know what the answer is? And I think I
What's
understand
funny
why the
about
Attorney General
this?
does not want to answer the question. Because you eliminated the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team last year. So I understand why you don't want to tell the American people who works there.
Yeah, I
no one
understand
works
why
there
you don't want to
anymore,
talk about
Madam
Mohammed
Attorney
Solomon
General.
in
So,
your district.
In any event,
who
I would
murdered people.
Mr. Chairman, will you stop the clock so his time is not wasted by
I've
the
been
witness?
very generous with allowing extra time when we have these little disputes.
I understand.
You got the time, Mr. Neguse.
I might as well ask the chairman these questions.
I'd be happy
because
to answer some of your questions.
What's profound, the questions I've
Profound?
asked,
The crime in
questions
your
I've
district.
asked, Mr. Chairman, are not trick questions. They're not gotcha questions. They're actually basic questions about how the Department of Justice functions and the unwillingness of this Attorney General to answer them in good faith. When a member of Congress asks, How many people work at the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team and the Attorney General refuses to answer it? It is not a coincidence. It's because she eliminated the team. Why? Because her boss, the President of the United States, is making money hand over fist, $1.4 billion over the course of the last year through cryptocurrency holdings. I think what is happening at the Department of Justice is a disgrace, Mr. Chairman, and I would urge you to gain control of this hearing. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.
Yeah. I would ask the gentleman, does he agree with the standing up of the Deputy Attorney General for dealing with fraud? That's something that's happened in this administration, first time. You talked about Penn. That happened with this Justice Department.
We're talking about this committee.
Mr. Chairman, had you answered the question, had the Attorney General answered the question in that way, perhaps this hearing would have some modicum of resembling something that has typically been fairly conventional, an oversight hearing of the Department of Justice.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentlelady from Wyoming.
All right.
Okay, let's break this down because what happened in that congressional hearing, straight fire, but the kind that burns the house down. Picture this, Attorney General Pam Bondi is sitting there under oath, facing off with Congressman Joe Neguse in what turns into a brutal clash. Neguse drops the hammer by playing bodicam footage from January 6th, clear as day, of a guy screaming at rioters to kill M, while cops are getting attacked. Calls them Nazis, Gestapo, the works. Total shouting match energy on the Capitol grounds. And who is this guy? Not some random agitator. It's Jared Wise, former FBI supervisory special agent, 13 years in counterterrorism. Left the bureau in 2017. Even did some work with Project Veritas afterward. He stormed the Capitol, got hit with 2 felonies and 4 misdemeanors, but then Trump sweeps in with those mass pardons in January 2025. Case dismissed, no verdict. Fast forward, and the DOJ hires him. Yeah, as a senior advisor and counselor to Ed Martin, who runs the so-called weaponization working group unit literally investigating whether the January 6th prosecutions were too aggressive. So a pardoned rioter who was yelling "kill 'em" at cops is now probing the people who went after the rioters. Bondi gets asked about it, and she refuses to condemn the guy. Dodges, deflects, even hits back at Neguse's district. The DOJ spokesperson straight up calls Wise a valued member of the Justice Department. Meanwhile, the guy who oversaw Wise's original prosecution, demoted, then resigned. Brutal. But it gets worse. Hold on. Just days earlier, Bondi posted online, "If you come for law enforcement, the Trump administration will come for you." Talking about some dude threatening ICE agents online. Tough talk, right? Yet here, on video, during an actual riot confrontation, crickets. Instead, job offer. Hypocrisy level, expert. Then Neguse pivots to the gutting of the DOJ itself. The Public Integrity Section, PIN, born after Watergate in 1976 to nail corrupt officials, used to have 36 career lawyers. Now, down to 2. 2. Former prosecutors saying the safeguards against political prosecutions are basically paper thin now. No real checks, and they suspended the unit's authority to review cases against public officials. One ex-FBI bigwig basically said, "Bring a corruption case now? You'd be crazy." Maybe that's the goal. And don't get me started on the crypto side. Deputy AG Todd Blanche, Trump's former personal defense lawyer, drops a memo April 2025, shuts down the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team effective immediately. The unit that handled massive cases like the Binance settlement? Gone. Why does that sting? Because around the same time, reports show the Trump family raking in hundreds of millions, over $800 million in the first half of 2025 alone, from crypto sales, holdings potentially worth billions, ventures in memecoins, lending platforms, Bitcoin mining, all while dismantling the exact cops who police that space. Neguse asks, how many people left on that crypto team? Bondi treats it like a trick question, won't answer, but we know, 0. Straight up evasive because it leads right to one of the biggest conflicts of interest we've seen. Bottom line, the guardrails are gone. Public integrity hollowed out, fewer lawyers than a small firm. Crypto enforcement vanished while a family crypto empire booms. Watchdogs fired. Even judges are saying trust in the DOJ, built over generations, eroded in weeks. One federal magistrate basically, blind deference to the government? Not anymore. This isn't law and order. This is the system rigged so no one powerful gets caught. While the people who promised to back the blue hire the guy who screamed to kill them. Jared Wise still there. Pin at 2 lawyers. Crypto team dead. And when confronted, the AG calls oversight tricks. Folks, if this doesn't make your blood boil, check your pulse. What do you think? Is this just politics as usual, or are we watching the DOJ get remade into something unrecognizable? Drop your takes below, smash that like if you're as fired up as I am, share it wide, hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. Thanks for watching, stay sharp out there, peace.